the biggest things in my career that was something that, like, it's almost like, I don't know if it's a joke or it's used as kind of like a punchline sometimes, but it's the match that I had at WrestleMania 29 in New Jersey versus Fandango. And the whole story. You guys all know his theme song, right? I'm taking credit for that. I'm going to tell you why. That was a great segue. You guys played along really well there. So originally, I was coming back to the WWE. How did I start? I came back at the Royal Rumble, I think, as a big surprise. And the big idea was I was going to work with Ryback at WrestleMania. And this is when... Are you booing because you don't like him, or are you booing the idea of it? Simmer down, simmer down, simmer down. Let's go back to a time when Ryback was super popular and super over. There was a time, okay? That's why I asked to work with him, because I thought I could make him an even bigger star, because that's what I do. Had he worked with me, maybe you wouldn't be booing the idea. Maybe you'd be cheering for him. Maybe. Anyways, the idea was for me to work with, what did I just say? Ryback. Thank you for paying attention. One person was paying attention in this whole crowd. So I was supposed to work with Ryback, and then I kept trying to get confirmation as to when we're going to start this angle, because WrestleMania angles usually start, usually you know who you're working with like 2, 3, 4 months before. Things either start going into place, or there's a plan, or whatever it may be. But there was nothing going on. I was just basically doing nothing. And I kept asking, when are we going to start this Ryback program? When is the Ryback program? And finally, one of the writers was like, you got to just talk to Vince. He wants to talk to you in person. So I'm like, okay. So I start texting Vince, hey, Vince, like, what are we doing at WrestleMania? Am I working Ryback? Am I working, Liberace? Am I doing, I don't know. What exactly am I doing? He's like, he sends me back this text where it says, I just thought you would be setting up the ring at WrestleMania. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm in trouble. Whenever Vince starts telling bad jokes, the outcome is never good. So I'm like, okay, what are we doing? And he's like, well, we're going to go in a different direction with Ryback. He's going to work with Mark Henry. And I'm like, what? Like, this is brutal. Like, I was supposed to work with Ryback. We agreed on it already. For me at the time, it was a big deal because I was locked into it. And then I'm like, well, even worse, who am I going to work with now? And he's like, well, I've got this idea. I'm thinking through my head of everybody that's on the roster. And everybody's paired up with somebody, except for two guys. One was this new guy. They were showing vignettes of him that were really cheesy and really bad. And the other one was Wade Barrett. So I said, well, maybe let's do can I do like a match for the Intercontinental Championship against Wade Barrett? I was his, he was the rookie. I was the mentor, original NXT. He won. And I was 9-time Intercontinental Champion. It could be the quest for number 10 and, all this sort of thing. And Vince's like, oh, no one's going to remember that. No one cares about that. No one cares about Jericho and Barrett. No. That's so 2011. I think it was 2012 at the time. 13 maybe. I'm like, well, who am I gonna work with? Like, what am I gonna do? And I'm sort of thinking, well, maybe it's gonna be some kind of a celebrity thing. Like, I was supposed to work with Mickey Rourke that one time, and then work with all the the legends, the Hall of Famers this other time. Like, maybe he's got something up his sleeve. Maybe it's gonna be Jericho versus like Johnny Depp. How cool! Jericho versus Depp. Depp versus Jericho. I can see it now. Sorry. I just think Johnny Depp's really hot, that's all. So, so I'm like, well, who am I going to work with, Vince? Who you got? He's like, I'm going to put you in there. I got this new kid. He's a great worker. He's charismatic. He's got a great gimmick. I'm going to put you in there with Fandango. And I was like, that's the guy with the shitty vignettes I was like, that's the one guy. I was like, there's no way. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Fandango? yes, it's going to be great. And I'm like, Vince, he hasn't even had a match. This is WrestleMania. He's like, oh, it's fine. Just go in there, take 90% of the match, and go straight to the finish. And I go, but the match isn't even going to be good. He goes, that's not supposed to be good. Remember, you can boo, but remember, this is WrestleMania. Yes, it is supposed to be good because it's WrestleMania. So I was like, this is brutal, and this is like a double cross, and I was so mad, and I said, and Vince just will not say a word. He just kind of said, I said, like, what you're telling me is I have no choice in this, and there's nothing I can do to change your mind because this is what we're doing. He goes, yep. I go, click. I hung up on him. That was the clicking sound. I thought I would get a better reaction of me hanging up on Vince McMahon. I guess all of you hang up on your bosses every day. But for me, it was a pretty big rebellious thing. So now I'm really mad. I'm like walking around my house and I don't know what to do. And it's like, who can I talk to that can give me the advice to go through this? Who can I talk to that knows all the answers? Who's the Jedi of the locker room? Who's the Yoda that I can go to? Under. Let me explain something. We've been talking for about an hour. When I'm talking and I leave spaces, that's because I'm building up to something dramatic. It's not a cue for you idiots to say okay? Right. And I appreciate the vim and vigor, but let me tell my story, please. That's what I do. So we'll do that again. Who can I talk to that has all of the knowledge? Who can I talk to that's the Yoda of the dressing room? Who can I talk to that knows all the answers? And the answer is The Undertaker. It's so cool that you're chanting his name because backstage right now, here he comes. Wouldn't you flip out if he came? He's my personal assistant now. So I called the Undertaker. Taker is what everyone calls him. I'm Taker, like, listen, I got this thing. Vince just told me I had this worst thing ever. I got to work with this guy Fandango. He's never had a match on WWE, on WrestleMania. Like, this is so ridiculous. It's so stupid. What am I supposed to do? Huh? What am I supposed to do, Undertaker? What would you do? What do I do? He goes, just have a match. And instantly, like, my big, giant bubble of, like, anger is like, I go, what do you mean? He goes, just have a match. He goes, it's one match. He goes, besides, this is actually, this is the lesson learning part of the show. He goes, it's actually a feather in your cap that Vince wants to build somebody, and he's putting him in there with you. Because to be in there with Chris Jericho is a big deal at WrestleMania. Maybe not from me to him, but from the company's perspective. Just having that match automatically makes this guy, puts him on a different radar. Right? You know what I mean? So... And so then he's like, listen, everyone talks about my streak, the Taker WrestleMania streak. He goes, go down that streak. He goes, there's a lot of stinker matches in that streak. He goes, Giant Gonzalez, and he's talking about, Jimmy Snuka and whoever else the hell else was. What's the guy's name? A-Train, Nathan Jones. I think there was probably a Viscera in there somewhere. You get the point. There's a lot of matches that weren't completely five-star classic matches because they weren't designed to be. He goes, all of the matches have a reason to be on the show, and this one for you is to get this guy Fandango over because that's what Vince wants. He goes, you get two options. You do what the boss wants you to do, or you quit and go home. Those are your two options. And I was like, well, you're right. I guess I'm just going to do what he wants me to do. And that's when I realized, okay, now it's my job to do the best I can to get this guy over. And we've only got 3 weeks. So I better start thinking. So the first thing I wanted to do was get people familiar with his name because they'd never seen him. So he came on the first night and he's like, what's your name? Fandango. And I'm like, Fandumbo? Fandango. Fan Dutch Durango? Fandango. Fan Wango Tango? Fan Dildo? Whatever I said. My favorite one was, I see you, Mr. Sailor, Mr. in the man, Scaramouche, Scaramouche, can you do the Fandango? I actually did that on Raw. But the idea would be everybody would know that his name is Fandango. There's mission 1 accomplished. Now they know who he is. Number 2, what's his finishing move? It was a leg drop from the top rope. Okay, from now on, every time we touch until WrestleMania, he hits me with the top rope leg drop. Why? Because now people know that that's a threat. I've got something I can use in the match to swerve people with. And even during that time frame, like, okay, tonight you're going to get something on Fandango. I'm like, no, I'm not. Tonight, he's going to beat me up and hit me with a leg drop again. Because that's what we're doing. We're building his name, and we're building that he has one huge weapon in his arsenal that he can use. That was the second thing. So now we have something. So by the time we get to WrestleMania, at least people know and they're invested and have an idea of what's going on in this feud. You follow me? Okay. So then, Dean Malenko is our agent, producer, and he says the finish for the match. Yes, you can cheer for Dean. He says, okay, so the finish is Fandango going over. And I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? That's not what Vince said. So now I'm really furious, and I call him up, and I'm yelling, you double-crossed me, you changed the finish, what's wrong with you? Meanwhile, he can do whatever he wants. If I get a gig, a part in a Steven Spielberg movie, and I say, big pop for Steven Spielberg, and I say, and the part is for the soldier number 1 to get his nuts shot off by a frickin' pineapple gun. If there's such a thing as a pineapple gun, it'd be shooting some nuts off. And I say, hey, listen, I'm not feeling this. They go, fine, get the hell out of here, and we'll bring somebody else in to get their nuts off by a pineapple gun, blown off. So this is his world, so I have to do the best, but I'm still really mad. Why would you do this? You changed the finish. He goes, I didn't change the finish. I go, yes, you did. He said, no, I didn't. I said, you said take 90% of the match and go straight home. He said, that's exactly what I said. And then I realized, well, yeah, that is exactly what he said. He never told me that I was winning. He just said take 90% of the match and go straight home. Now I feel like a real idiot. So anyways, we do the match. It turns out okay, but the next night on Raw, some of you guys might have even been there. It's the famous night after Raw, the crazy crowd with a bunch of people from the UK, a bunch of people from Ireland, a bunch of people from everywhere around the world. And all night long, they were singing the theme song of Fandango, which goes like this. And everybody was doing that too. I think that song was even like number 10 on the charts over here. So I took great pride in that because when I was leaving New Jersey that night, the show was in New Jersey, people were doing that. I stuck my phone out of the window of the car and I called Vince and said, listen to this. And everybody was doing that in the parking lot. I said, we just got a top babyface on our hands. We built him so good in those 3 weeks that we made him into a star. And that, to me, is by far mission accomplished, and I'm very proud of that match.